For the past 20 plus years, if you were looking for the ultimate performance version of the Golf, it would have an R in the name. Well, today we're actually here at a dealer meeting in Orlando, Florida, because Volkswagen has just revealed the 2025 Volkswagen Golf R. Let's take a first look. Now, as the ultimate performance variant of the Volkswagen Golf, I thought I'd pop the hood and remind you guys what's powering this thing. Now, this is typically where, when you look at a refreshed vehicle, the company doesn't usually make any changes underneath the hood, but for 2025, Volkswagen did surprise us because while we do have, of course, the same 2-liter gasoline direct injection turbocharged 4-cylinder, their TFSI engine family, it does make a little bit more power this year. VW says in the US, this will be making 328 horsepower. That's an increase of about 13 ponies versus the 2024 model. You still get a pretty stout 295 pound-feet of torque. The downside, of course, with the Golf R for 2025 is that beloved 6-speed manual has been discontinued. All of them now come with that 7-speed dual-clutch transmission, which honestly, I actually prefer the dual-clutch over the manual every time I drove this vehicle. All Golf Rs come standard, of course, with the latest 4Motion all-wheel drive system, and that's one of the biggest differentiations between this and a GTI, which we'll talk about the GTI in a separate video. I don't have any final fuel economy figures just yet, but this Golf R has always been capable of doing 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds with the dual clutch with launch control engaged. I suspect with the increase in power, it should be able to do that a little bit faster. Golf Rs have always been highly underrated in terms of their performance. This vehicle should have a top speed of around 155 miles an hour. And because of the all-wheel drive system, this is going to obviously be the heaviest version of the Golf, coming in at around 3,600 pounds or so. But again, we'll have those final figures when Volkswagen is ready to release them as we get closer to the on-sale date. But let's go ahead and close up the hood and talk about the exterior styling of this vehicle. Now, this is obviously shown in the signature color. It's called Lapis Blue Metallic. The Golf R is technically only available in 3 colors. It's this blue, black, and then I think a white exterior color. You can see the front fascia. You'll have to squint at it to really see the differences, and that's kind of a good thing because the old Golf R, I thought the Mark 8 when it first came out, was just such a handsomely attractive looking vehicle. You can see one of the big things you'll notice is the new lit up Volkswagen logo. The company's been doing that across the board on a lot of their models. It looks great, of course, with the LED light blade that goes through the grille, the subtle little R badge. You can see the updated headlights are a little bit skinnier. They have, of course, their IQ Light adaptive headlight technology where it actually has a mechanical function where it'll adjust the headlight angle based on your steering angle, of course. It also has the kind of blue reflector here, or the blue accent in the actual headlights. No fog lights in this vehicle. I kind of wish that Volkswagen did put fog lights on the Golf R. But you can see the front fascia has been subtly tweaked. You have functional air intake openings. You have a more sculpted looking front end that goes really good with the illuminated logo. There's the radar sensor there, of course, and the front camera system. So that's one of the new additions this year is VW is offering a full 360 camera on this vehicle, which I think is really going to improve the technology and make this thing even feel more like a luxury-oriented vehicle, which technically Golf Rs have always been able to do that for you anyways. Now, in terms of the wheels, you can see this model here is a Euro spec model, so there's going to be slight variations between the US model, where you'll probably see like an amber illuminator reflector there, but you can see these are the 19-inch forged wheels that you're going to get with these massive cross-drilled brakes with the blue painted calipers. There's also going to be like a black package that'll give you a blacked out wheel, but you can see these tires are also pretty nice looking. There are 235 by 35 R19. I'm actually surprised the tires are so narrow. A lot of competitors in the space have gone to like a 265 width tire, but these are obviously a Bridgestone Potenza summer tire, and the vehicle has a nice lowered suspension with an all-independent suspension and adaptive dampers. That's kind of what you usually get when you're looking at a Volkswagen Golf R. Now, in terms of dimensions, it only comes as a 4-door, obviously, and this is a pretty small vehicle. In fact, it's actually a lot smaller than its main rival, the Honda Civic Type R, at around 168 inches long with a 103-inch long wheelbase. I think that's one of the reasons why enthusiasts love this vehicle so much, is because it's small on the outside, but relatively spacious on the inside. I also love the metallic look that you get here for the mirror caps. And then you can see here this panoramic glass sunroof is going to be standard equipment. You can delete the sunroof as part of like a Euro spec package, which will also roll in a titanium exhaust system, which I really would be curious to hear how that sounds, because one of the criticisms of the Golf R was it was a little bit too refined, a little bit too disconnected at times. Now you can see at the rear, which by the way, if you're noticing the GTI over there, we're going to do a separate video on the GTI, so be sure to click on the links in the description below to watch that. But you can see the rear area has this really nice, kind of more pronounced rear spoiler that's over the hatch, but it's also not too boy racer, and that's what I really appreciate about the Golf R. It also has an updated LED taillight with a new full LED light signature. I actually really love the kind of monochromatic look of the taillights themselves. You can see there's also that subtle little R badge. There's a nice little rear window wiper. And then the rear bumper has also been slightly updated. It has a really nice, rear diffuser back here with that signature quad outlet exhaust. This one does not have the optional titanium exhaust. That's bound, of course, with that Euro spec package, which deletes the sunroof. I'll be very curious again to hear how this thing sounds, but it just looks mean, but it also looks mature and sophisticated, which is one of the reasons why I love the Golf R in general. Now, in terms of the cargo area, you can see no power liftgate. You have to push open that Volkswagen logo to access the cargo area, and you get around 19.9 cubic feet of space, which is a fairly usable amount of space. This is where the Honda Civic Type R, because it's so much larger, is going to give you a little bit more space back here. If you look underneath this floor, you can see there's no spare, although this is again a Euro spec model. If I want to fold down those seats, which you can't really do super well from back here, you have to go to the side of the rear door. It expands the cargo to around 34.5 cubic feet, which is a usable amount. It's going to be more versus something like a Toyota GR Corolla, but that bigger, again, Honda Civic Type R hatchback is going to give you a little bit more practicality because it's just a larger vehicle. So the exterior of the new Golf R was very minimalistic, which I thought was a great thing, but this is where Volkswagen had made some key improvements to the interior of the 2025 Golf R. Now, first of all, this interior color, or this material, the seats are still pretty much the same. These are unique to the Golf R where they're nicely, aggressively bolstered, but I also want to remind you this is a European spec car, but this is also a really cool fabric that mixes kind of like a suede Alcantara with the fabric. This is kind of like a diamond weave art velour, which Volkswagen says is a new fabric option. I love the kind of diamond weave texture with the contrast blue and the gray and the black. It just makes the interior feel a lot more unique, and I think a lot of people are going to appreciate the fact that it's a mixture of cloth and Alcantara. And then looking at the rest of this interior, you can see it has a big upgrade, and that's obviously going to be in the center here. You have a massive 12.9-inch touchscreen, which is around 3 inches larger versus the previous generation. Now, the previous generation, or the pre-refresh model, I should say, had a 10-inch display, which honestly looked okay, but the software behind it, a lot of people didn't really love it, myself including. This is, of course, now their latest Volkswagen software, their CarNet software system, where it's been kind of updated. These sliders, as you can see, are still present, but now they are backlit illuminated. I don't particularly love the touch-sensitive sliders, but once you get the hang of it, it is relatively easy to kind of get used to. You have your drive mode selector here, of course. There's still kind of that race, sport, comfort, individual mode. There's also like a car icon here. You can go there to your actual home display, which will bring up all your usual icons. This also includes wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You can also change the ambient lighting in this vehicle to kind of change the back lighting as well, which is also a really nice touch. And this screen, even though it definitely looks like a big tablet tacked onto the center, I love the placement of it because it's really within easy reach. It's also, it doesn't really block my line of sight. And it just brings the technology level here along with the new software, which I'll have to spend a week with this vehicle at some point where I can test out the software and connect it to my phone and see if Volkswagen really did improve the functionality of it. Now, in terms of the materials, this is a Golf R, so it typically has really nice materials. Now, first of all, this is a Euro spec model. The seats are manually adjustable, but in the US, I suspect it'll have a power seat. I'm not entirely sure, but you can see the door panel has a nice soft touch injection molded plastic. There's some genuine carbon fiber trim on the actual door panel with some ambient lighting. It's nice and padded over here. Window controls, they are one touch for all four, and you also have nice metal accents. The mirrors also electrically fold in, which is nice. And then the steering wheel, you can see it's their latest Volkswagen steering wheel with steering wheel mounted paddle shifters, which also feel nice. You have that flat bottom design with the blue accents and the Golf R logo. If you're noticing here, however, the Golf R still has the touch sensitive buttons here on the steering wheel. Now in the GTI, you actually have traditional hard buttons, and that's because Volkswagen says this little R button here that allows you to access the drive mode selector is unique to the Golf R, and it couldn't be redeveloped in time for them to switch this out to an actual button. So I don't particularly love the touch sensitive buttons, but hey, you kind of get used to them once you actually spend some time with the vehicle. You still have the all-digital 10-inch display in the instrument panel. The dashboard material also has some nice soft touch injection molded plastic with the carbon fibers, traditional air vents here. You have more touch-sensitive buttons here, a heads-up display. There's also a kind of an updated center console here, slightly with, you can see their wireless phone charging pad here. There's too much piano black plastic. I don't particularly love this. This controls the 7-speed dual clutch with your start-stop controller over here. There's a little bit of storage, as you can see. There's a decent cup holder, which also you can push that button that opens up the actual cup holder here to create two. And then there's a nice padded center console over here. And unlike previous Golf Rs, you can see that actually opens up to, gives you a storage area, and you can also adjust the level of this and the angle of that, so that's really nice. Above me, you can see the big pano sunroof, although it's not really big. It's kind of like an overgrown size of a standard sunroof is nice. You have LED lighting in here, map lighting, a woven material for the headliner. And these seats are pretty comfortable and supportive. They hold you in place nicely for aggressive driving, but they also aren't too aggressive to where you couldn't drive this vehicle on a longer trip. So overall, the interior didn't really need too many changes. The big upgrade obviously is the new infotainment system. So I'll be looking forward to spending a week with this to show you guys the new software and see if Volkswagen was listening to some of the criticism of the earlier generations. But let's go ahead and hop into the backseat area of the Golf R, because this is where the R has always been relatively practical. Now you can see the backseat area has the same kind of interesting diamond weave texture for the fabric. As you can see with the two-tone, you can also fold this down to kind of create a flat floor, a nearly flat floor, which is a nice little touch. This doesn't actually allow you to fold or to recline the seat, but again, this is still a pretty usable amount of space. VW says you get around 35 inches of legroom back here, which is actually pretty decent. Let me get back here and shut the door. You can see this is almost where I'd have the seat to drive. The legroom space here is fine. There is a hump here, obviously, for the middle passenger. You have your own climate control here, where it looks like it's a 3-zone. You also have rear seat air vents, which is nice. No heated rear seats. And then material quality back here, you can see it is hard touch plastic, so they did downgrade it from the front, but that beautiful ambient lighting, I appreciate how that's still here. This is nice and padded with the Alcantara here. The windows back here are also one touch, which is nice. And then you can see if I fold this down, there's an armrest. That gives you 2 cup holders, and it looks like there's also another little pass-through here. If you guys have longer skis or longer items, you can kind of do that and still seat 2 people back here. Headroom space is also pretty decent, but overall, again, just like the pre-refresh version, if you want to use this as your daily driver, a family vehicle, you can certainly do so, although again, this is where a bigger vehicle like an SUV obviously is going to give you more space, so this is still way more practical versus that coupe that you're probably trading in to get one of these. So as a driving enthusiast, I've always been a really big fan of the Golf R, and even though this has always appealed to a slightly niche market, it's really great to see Volkswagen making some changes to the Golf R, because the current generation has been a really excellent addition. In fact, the only really thing I can complain about is the discontinuation of the manual transmission. Yes, the manual is something that enthusiasts want, but let's be honest here, most people are not choosing manual transmissions, they're buying automatics. However, the automatic that's in the Golf R, that 7-speed dual clutch, is one of the best that you're going to find in the business. I've tested one for a full week, the pre-refresh model, and it delivers incredible performance that beat the 0 to 60 time of 4.5 seconds. This is a really easy car to live with on a daily basis, and with the upgrades that VW has made, especially in the technology department, I'll be looking forward to actually trying this out and using it on my smartphone and seeing how it actually works in day-to-day driving. Now, if you're looking to get your hands on the new Volkswagen Golf R, the company wasn't ready to basically tell us pricing just yet, but you should be able to get your hands on one of these vehicles toward the end of this year. And if you want to know what the pricing is going to cost, let's go ahead and speculate, because the current generation, or the current 2024 model, starts at just under $46,000. Now, 46 grand is for a manual transmission model. You added around $800 for that dual clutch, so I would estimate this car is probably going to cost at least $48,000 when it goes on sale toward the end of this year. We don't have, again, final pricing of that Euro spec upgrade, which deletes the moonroof but adds that titanium exhaust. I suspect that's going to be an expensive proposition, because typically those titanium exhaust systems are a couple $1,000s if you're going to buy it in the aftermarket, but we'll have to wait and see. I wouldn't be surprised to see this vehicle here crest the $50,000 mark if you add in that black package with the titanium exhaust and all the options with destination charge. So again, the Golf R is certainly an expensive proposition, but it also is kind of right in line with one of its main rivals, like the Honda Civic Type R and the Toyota GR Corolla. But with all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview on the brand new 2025 Volkswagen Golf R. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Redline_reviews, like us on Facebook, and as always, guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.